Alright guys, what's going on? My name's TetraNinja, and today I am very excited to be bringing you guys some footage from the Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception multiplayer beta. And if you're wondering how you can actually get into this beta, there are two main ways you can do so. You can either buy Infamous 2 made by Sucker Punch, which is something I highly suggest you do because Infamous 2 is a fantastic game, which I absolutely loved. Or you can be a PSN Plus subscriber. And as this guy kind of just dry humps the air right there for no apparent reason, that's the taunt ability. We can kill someone and you can kind of just taunt them while they're dead. But yeah, like I was saying, you can be a PSN Plus subscriber and you can gain access to the beta as well. And you should all be PlayStation Plus subscribers anyways, even though you may not pay for it, because you get a month of free PlayStation Plus subscription on the Welcome Back program when PlayStation Network went down. So you should be able to get at least one free month free, and if you didn't have a code or you didn't buy Infamous 2, now is the perfect time to cash in that 1 month so you can get some access to this beta. But anyways, this is the map Airstrip, and it's a very unique multiplayer experience, especially on this map, because you first start off on this plane setting and then it generally moves, or as I get meleeed right there, and then it moves into a more traditional map setting. It's really very unique. It's something that I've never seen before. Where you start off is completely different where you end off, but you only have a couple minutes on this plane, then the plane ends and it stops. Just a tip right there, even though if you start off as the good side or the hero side as Nathan Drake or Sully, you start inside the plane, but that does not mean that enemies cannot respawn behind you. In fact, it happens occasionally, so you just gotta make sure you're always checking your back. And when I get to this scene right here, I reach for I run directly towards the center area, just because there's usually a power weapon. This time it's a grenade launcher called the Hammer. If anyone who played Uncharted games, it's a very familiar weapon, and it changes randomly. The last time I played this map, it was like it was kind of like a high-powered pistol shotgun kind of deal. And as you can see, I'm still kind of getting used to controllers and aiming downside and everything. Basically, I wasted a whole bunch of shots right there. If you have this weapon, you should at least get about 3 kills with it, just because it's pretty much a one-shot kill. Just with all, as always with explosives, you never want to aim directly at the person. You want to aim at where they're standing or where they're about to go, and let the splash damage take care of them. But yeah, this beta so far has been fairly glitchy. This is the only gameplay that I could bring to you guys, just because it was the only full game. That's mainly because, like I said, the beta as of right now is very glitchy, and what you notice during peak periods during the day, the game's gonna freeze a lot. I can only assume just because of volume, and there's really nothing you can do about that. It's kind of like if any of you guys played the Medal of Honor beta on PlayStation 3 a week earlier. It came out before on Xbox. The game just occasionally froze all the time, and so the score of this game is not the greatest. It's I think I finished off with 13-5, which is almost a 3-to-1 KD, probably like a 2.7 or something like that. But which isn't too bad, because this game does not have kill streaks, so it's a really high emphasis of just accuracy and gunplay and map knowledge. The weapons have a whole lot of recoil, so you have to burst fire a bit to stay on target, and that's pretty much it. I actually dropped down my sensitivity halfway from the default. That's mainly because I play with FPS control freaks, which are control attachments that give you like an extra half inch on the thumbsticks on my PlayStation 3 controller. So that allows me to drop the sensitivity a little bit, just so I can be a little more accurate with my shooting. But yeah, there's a whole lot of recoil on these guns regardless of what you're using. I find that the riot shield's absolutely useless. You can pick up the riot shield and you switch to your pistol, but I find that you walk very slowly with it, and I find if I'm like creeping up against behind someone, I just get snuck up on, and it's just bad news bears. And with this beta, you can start off with 3 main classes. You have 3 burst assault rifle class, which is the G18. It can zoom in a little bit further and has an optical kind of sight that the AK-47 does not have. But just as in Call of Duty, there are limitations of a 3 burst assault rifle, especially if you're up close. So multi-purpose, the AK-47 is really what you want to go with, which is the second weapon you have open right away. And then the third weapon is the Dragunov, which is a sniper rifle you should all be familiar with. It's a fairly popular sniper rifle in the FPS world, and it was a recurring sniper rifle in the previous 2 games. But I was actually very excited to play this beta. Even though Uncharted games for me, just as Resistance games as well as Gears of War games, as I get meleeed right there by my own teammate, that's okay, I blew that guy up with my RPG. Like I was saying, Uncharted games have been mainly, I play them mainly for the campaign, but from what I'm seeing, they've actually put a whole bunch of work into the multiplayer of this game. I touched on the multiplayer a bit on Uncharted 2. That was mainly because I wanted to platinum that game, which I eventually did, and it required you to grab some trophies from the multiplayer. But apparently they put a whole bunch of work into this into the multiplayer in this game, and as of right now during the beta, there are only a couple options of all available. There's the team deathmatch, free for all. There's a online co-op mode, and there's a couple others that I can't remember. From what I remember, there's also no, as of right now, there are no objective-based gameplays, such as like a territories or domination kind of thing, or a capture the flag, or I forget what they called it in the Uncharted 2. It was like a treasure hunter thing. But yeah, it's fairly limited. And as of right now, there are only 2 maps, and you can see right here, I'm trying to figure out where the hell this where this gun is actually on the inside, and then it actually cost me right here, and I died. But like I was saying, there are only 2 maps available right now, Airstrip, and the other one is Chateau. Chateau I'm not really that much of a fan of, just because even though it seems like it's a fairly large map, everyone kind of just circulates in one main building. But this one's fairly large, and people can move around a lot more, and they tend to not stick in a single area, which is what I really like for my maps. I like movement. I like giving people the incentive to move around, and I can only imagine once they add objective-based gameplay for these maps, which I think will happen in the later stages of the beta. I'm not 100% sure. I checked the schedule very briefly, but I can't remember off by the top of my head. But hopefully they will add some different multiplayer variants to the multiplayer. But control-wise, aiming down sight, it's pretty much standard and what you would expect out of any FPS shooter. The controls are very tight and intuitive, which is really what you want for a first-person shooter. Bad controls in a first-person shooter would be just as detrimental to a game. It'd be the equivalent of like an RPG or role-playing game having a bad story. It's just really dumb. But yeah. And in terms of graphics, I don't think anyone expected the multiplayer of this game to look as good as the single player will be. That's just because Uncharted games have always been at the very top of graphics on consoles. They really demonstrate the power of the PlayStation 3 and what the cell processor can push out. But the multiplayer still looks pretty good, especially when you consider its peer-to-peer connection between consoles. Obviously, you're not going to get the same amount of degree of graphics as you would on a PC, but they still look pretty good in my opinion. The shading looks great, the textures look great as well, and this is something you do not want to do, jump in between a group of like 4 guys, but luckily I was able to sneak out a kill right there. And the gameplay is very unique in this multiplayer, and I'll probably talk about it a little bit later, as you can probably tell all the parkour action. But from what I played and what I could play, based on the stability of the beta right now, I'm just having an absolute blast with it. It's really fun. I haven't had this much fun in a multiplayer for a while now. Learning a new engine and learning new controls and everything. But even though it is something completely new, it's still a first-person shooter multiplayer, and after a couple hours you just feel right at home. But yeah, the video is about to end right here. Like I said, final score is 13-5. I hopefully will be bringing you guys some more video once the beta becomes a little bit more stable. But yeah, thank you for watching and have a fantastic day.